Wimbledon final. Perhaps nerves. But not just another match, is it, Boris, a Wimbledon final? 7 of these for you?
Yeah, it's a very difficult start if you haven't been here. Obviously, he played the first couple of points good, but that wasn't good enough. Here we see Wayne Ferreira. Another great
hitting love.
The problem with playing a lot of matches is always that your footwork starts slowing down. It's just you have the little steps, not anymore, that made his game so dangerous.
Brad Stein there, coaching Kevin Anderson. I'll tell you more about him.
DJOKOVIC.
Perfect start for the Serbian. 2-love break, of course.
DJOKOVIC leads by 2 games to love, first set.
There is Brad Stein, coach to Kevin Anderson. Got approached when he was working for the US Tennis Association last December. Now, he used to work with Jim Courier. He worked with Sébastien Grosjean, but Courier was the man where he really made his reputation. Just said, I couldn't resist working with the top 15 player. Well, he's now into the Wimbledon final. And he's taken Kevin Anderson up to 8 in the world, as high as 7 last month. He'll go to 5 if he loses the final and 4 if he wins. So they've done great work.
But obviously he's been working with Neville Goodwin for a long time. I'd like to mention him as well, because
Absolutely.
they've done a great job together for all those years.
And Jay Bosworth.
As well.
Mr. Anderson is challenging a call on the service line. The ball's got out. Second service. 30 love.
Come on.
Mr. Anderson has 2 challenges remaining.
.37 miles an hour. That really was a rising ball, and you see the trajectory from our commentary position, which is around about head height for Djokovic, and that thing was up and around the head. Good hold. Anderson needed that. He's in the match. The final of Wimbledon starts, as far as he's concerned.
Djokovic leads by 2-1, first set.
Now, Kevin Anderson, I mean, they're all up there in the box. He's got his brother Greg up there, and he's got Kelsey, his wife, and coach, and everybody's in town. One bloke who's not there is his father, and I want to say hello. What he does is he stays at home, and he watches it on record, so he gets rid of all the boring bits, probably including this. He doesn't like to watch the matches live.
He'll probably start after 7 minutes of this match, because the first 7 minutes weren't ideal for Kevin. No. But good that he's got a early hold under his belt.
It must be difficult to see your children play in front of you. I mean, we all have children, and it's, I'd be much more nervous than they are. So I would also be staying away if my son would be playing Wimbledon Final every time.
But how proud you would be to look at your offspring achieving this as well. I mean, how wonderful to see this Wimbledon Final. And this is much more, isn't it, Boris? And it's a feeling of an occasion and an event than a tennis match. Would you agree?
Very much so. I mean, he'll be remembered for the rest of his life because of this Wimbledon Final, regardless whether he wins or not. It's one of the great achievements in the sport. And he's understands the history of tennis. He knows who's been winning here before. He's a study of the game, and his home country will be watching. He'll be a superstar coming back. And it's the other great man, Bjorn Borg.
Retired at 26, having achieved so much on this court and everywhere. Just walk. 2-1.
You
can see Anderson's return movement. It's just a little bit slower still. He still hasn't physically arrived at the match yet.
It's almost a bit of a double negative for Anderson, because you could say he's come in here after playing 11 hours of tennis. He's not going to feel so sharp, but then also the nervous tension. The one thing that affects is your footwork.
Let's for service. Let's for service. Love.
31 years of age, Novak Djokovic. Anderson's doing a fabulous job of trying to talk himself into some good tennis here. Positive self-talk. He's geeing himself up, even though he only goes from love 40 down to 1540. He's clenching the fist and talking upbeat to himself.
Game, Djokovic. Djokovic leads by 3-1, first set.
Djokovic in 2011 in his first final beat Nadal to become the world number one. 2013, the famous day when Andy Murray beat him in straight sets. Novak had gone through a 4-hour 43 semi-final with Del Potro. Up until this tournament, that was the longest Wimbledon semi-final, but both surpassed that this year.
By hours.
I know.
Not minutes.
Beat Federer in 2014 and 15. Djokovic, handy player.
Yeah, so again, it just takes him a long time to move away from the ball.
Do you think that's remnants of the semi-final?
Very much. I think it's the occasion, but it's, you know, hours and hours of tennis this week. I think as the match goes on, he will feel better and he will loosen up. But now he looks a little slow.
Missed it. Wide.
Love 30.
Yeah, Novak is just going to hit one more ball back every time. Even if it's an easy one, it's short. It's just going to make him play another shot. That's what counter punches do. It used to drive me crazy as a player.
15-30.
Come on. You sense when Djokovic has been able to get into these baseline rallies, he looks so comfortable, because in his previous match playing Nadal was hitting the ball so hard. So it must feel like he's got a lot more time when Anderson's hitting the ground strokes.
Marian Veda, the sidelines.
Once more finds a way to dip the ball low at the feet of the onrushing South African. It's 2 breaks for 1.
Djokovic leads by 4-1. First set.
really difficult for Kevin Anderson at this point. First set may have gone, time will tell. An awful lot he could have done better. Some first serves here and there might have been nice, some more. Just getting in 40% at the moment, 6 out of 15, but he hasn't really settled, and now Djokovic is not missing. Breaks down Kevin Anderson. The first set may be beyond his reach now. And oh, look at this. This is wonderful, isn't it? Rod Laver, twice a winner of the Grand Slams, all in the same calendar year. Talking to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, maybe about the bounce height on this court. Who knows? It looks like a tennisy chat. The Duchess of Cambridge, good player, patron of the club. And had England been in the final of the World Cup, I would suggest that her husband might have been somewhere else, but you don't want to be in Russia, be here. It's nice on centre court. Kevin Anderson may have informed James Kayathavong, the umpire, that he needs a trainer and or a doctor. We'll keep an eye on that. Could be an elbow injury. It's very sound, crisp volley. This is a perfect start for Djokovic, isn't it?
It certainly is. We focused on a few of the numbers for Anderson. 40% first serves, not going to get it done, but Djokovic only lost 2 points on serve, giving so little away. 2 break points he's had, he's taken them both. And about to be up 5-1 after 21 minutes. Really is the perfect start.
Game Djokovic.
Yeah, come on.
Anderson in the background.
Djokovic leads
still
by
speaking
5-1 first set.
Himself. Obviously, he wants his emotions to get going. He wants the juice to flying, but the body doesn't answer yet.
Trying to get himself fired up a little bit.
Feel a little embarrassed even when you've made the Wimbledon final. He wants to do his bit here. It's nicely done.
Another stat that stands out for me. He had served 173 aces so far in his championship. 1 today. So far.
He's serving to the best returner, isn't he? I think of all time. There's a man in Panama who showed lightning quick reflexes there. That ball
15 all.
shot into the crowd.
Djokovic playing the situation so well. We're in the middle of the 6th game and he's made 1 unforced error in the match. Certainly making his opponent work hard.
Djokovic is the lowest ranked man to be in the final actually since Philippoussis, who was ranked 48th in 2003. That was The first of Federer's 11 finals.
.40-15. Game Anderson. New balls, please.
And a second ace for the match brings a second game. Still 2-5, but good hold and an important one.
Djokovic leads by 5 games to 2, first set.
So you see a big match like this as the tennis balls get changed, Boris, and you were a part of Novak Djokovic's team. The highlight presumably was when he won the 2016 French Open to complete the set of all the slams, such a rare achievement. So we'll keep an eye on that. But do you miss the highlights?
I was a very proud member of his team and we had a great time together. But everything has its time and this chapter is closed for me. I'm happy to be back with you guys here in the commentary booth.
It's cooler in here.
Certainly on a day like today.
So what was that all about? Andy Jarrett just walking off, the referee, with Clay, the trainer. Quite sure what that's about. They're just disappearing off in front of our commentary position here.
So far this final, remember the last year's final with Cilic Federer, where Cilic had the blister and just wasn't emotional ready. That has similarities to me. Hopefully Anderson recovers and finds his mojo.
You expect Djokovic to finish this set off here at 5-2 with 2 breaks, but the early part of the second set I think is going to be absolutely vital for Anderson to really establish himself. He's potentially going to be serving first and needs to get his nose in front.
And from Djokovic's point of view, it's easy now to overdo things as well. He keeps it cool, he keeps it simple. He doesn't get ahead of himself. That was a better return.
Let's first service. .30-15.
The last set he played on this court lasted 5 minutes short of 3 hours. This one, 2 minutes short of half an hour. Poor Kevin has taken a bit of a mauling. That's away.
Djokovic.
One-sided. 2 breaks of serve. Djokovic, remember, had a very long semi-final himself. He's fine physically. I'm not sure Kevin Anderson is, as the trainer comes back out onto court, noted by the coach and agents. Djokovic camp. This is all one-way traffic at the moment. 6-2. Djokovic is the elbow and the bicep, it looks like, is being worked on, or possibly tricep as well. New rackets are coming out as well. Yeah, that definitely looks like the attachment of the bicep, doesn't it? I think that's what a bicep looks like. I haven't seen one for a while. That's probably quite common after all the serving and the...
Yeah, I mean, he's played a lot of tennis, hasn't he? He's been on the grass a while. It's been documented how much time he spent on the court in this championships, and there's probably quite a few other muscles in his body that are feeling pretty sore. But when you're serving at 135 plus miles an hour, and he's done it for 21 hours in this tournament,
and the minute.
I think that's the record itself too, having spent 21 hours to just get to the final. I don't think it's ever been done before, so naturally he's going to feel every part of his body.
And remember, we talk about the semi-final because the numbers were so extraordinary at 6 hours and a half plus. He beat Federer too, out on court, won 10-8 in the 5th, and had a match point. She knew, what was the score? 13-11, I beg your pardon. 13-11 in the 5th, and actually had a match point down after 2 sets.
And had Monfils on Monday. It was still in the same week. That was his first time he actually entered the quarterfinal, beating Monfils, also in 3.5 hours. So this guy played a lot of tennis in 1 week.
Time.
Barbara, his mother, on the right-hand side there, and on the left, that's Kelsey, who is his wife. She bought that dress. Look, I did ask her this. She bought it yesterday in Wimbledon Village from Matches. She's delighted with that shop. I just thought I'd mention it. I said I would. He said he was okay. She said he was okay physically, but maybe she didn't want to tell me everything.
Second sets, Anderson to serve.
Okay, so a reset for Kevin Anderson. I hope he's able to play his best tennis from now. First set was quite one-sided.
Yeah, just got to somehow
15 love.
Find the strength and energy to hold serve now and get emotionally, physically going. Remember, he lost the first set against Federer 6-2 as well, and it didn't look good then.
We do get a lot of stats, but an amazing one for me is that Anderson has played 649 points on his first serve, and he's only come to the net on 24 of them. That's 4%. Got to think against this type of matchup just once a game. Could at least keep his opponent guessing, and when your opponent's the best returner in the game, got to use everything you've got.
And there's an illustration of the unspectacular brilliance from Djokovic on the return. I mean, that ball arrived back in half a second, and you're playing it after a big serve, and Anderson not used to that. To come down,
and your footwork's not quite as good. You're a bit nervous. Everything piling up against Anderson. And the problem is, you're saying to Anderson from the back of the court,
15-14.
You've got to be aggressive. You've got to go for your shots. but we played just over a set, and he's made 14 unforced errors from the back of the court. So then he's saying to himself, oh, like making too many mistakes, I've got to be careful. Then he's got no chance from the back of the court.
It's a baseline ball. It's going to be challenged. Anderson hoiked the backhand out. I think it probably checked on the line, but judging from the result of the Anderson swing, the ball did stop up a little bit off the line. It's game.
Djokovic.
And this torment for poor Anderson continues.
First game
is turning the screw, which is what he has specialised in since turning professional.
Has 2 challenges remaining.
He's not going to back off even for a second. He's a very hard man, and this is the greatest prize in tennis that he's playing for. Talk about coming back and being rejuvenated. Novak Djokovic playing Queen's Club, getting his 5 matches there, had a match point against Cilic and lost that match. Building, he was talking about peaking, he was talking about being back or approaching his best, and it's been fabulous. The story of the men's championship that we're seeing the best from him again.
Love 15.
First double fault of this match. Only 13 double faults for the tournament. That's very low. He bounces the ball more than he serves double faults, put it that way. 21. 13, 14, 15. It's 25 seconds between points, but if he misses his first serve, it feels like about a month and 25 seconds. He won't be rushed, Novak Djokovic. It's always a talking point.
Yeah, it's the movement. You could hear how heavy the steps were getting to that backhand. It's just not light-footed.
Six 6'8" and light-footed. It's not easy at the best of times, let alone when you spent the amount of time he has on court and had a bit of nervous tension from a Wimbledon final.
A line ball off the first set, and that's the way to back up the break. Comfortable hold.
Djokovic leads by 2 games to love. The second set.
Some players are very light around this court. This court has taken 77 hours of tennis over the course of the 2 weeks of the championships. Federer is very light according to the groundsman. And 2 others as well. Jamie Murray's quite hard, the way he drags his foot. He's in action in the mixed doubles final. Murray and Victoria Azarenka playing after this.
15 love.
Listen to the crowd now. They want something more.
Get it up. Come on.
You came to see one of these roller coasters we've had. So many this week. Here we go.
30 love.
First serve beginning to find its mark. And if he makes more first serves, he won't have to hit second serves, where he's only won 4 of 13 points.
It's a difficult time, isn't it?
40-15.
Not easy to watch on. Another line ball, and he feels that Djokovic has had his fair share of those.
40-30.
Got to take it point by point now. Just
Advantage Anderson. Let's replay the points.
Ball came out of Anderson's pocket.
Now, that's hindrance, isn't it?
First time's a let.
First time a let.
If it happens again, he loses the point. A bit like when your cap falls off in the rally.
Yeah, there it is.
You get one chance.
It could be a handy ploy.
yeah, things are not going for him at this stage. To put it lightly.
If his hat falls off now. there's a rare exchange from the back of the court, but Anderson wins. It's the longest rally of the match at 15. I don't know how satisfying that will be for Anderson as he tries to get a foothold in this set.
Anderson.
Anything will do right now. She's got to get on the board.
Let's for service. Djokovic leads by 2-1. Second set, and by 1 set to love.
Still a set and a break, but great hold, Anderson. So Kevin Anderson coming through a tough game, but still a set and a break down here. Just an afterthought, really, for Novak Djokovic to get after this ball. But it has to be good news, Tim Henman, if Kevin is going to move forward and try and change something when you're this far down.
Well, he has to change something up, and I think there's also an element of doing Plan A a bit better. He's moved his first serve percentage up to 60, only winning 4 of 14 on second serves, because those are basically baseline exchanges. So the longer they have these rallies at the back of the court, the more it favours Djokovic. And again, I mentioned it earlier, it amazes me, first and second serves, that Anderson has only served and volleyed 30 times when he's played 950 points.
Yeah,
guy's 6 for 8. That's got to be,
and actually a very fine doubles player as well, as he demonstrated in college. He loved it.
It's so imposing.
He certainly is. So we'll see. He's not out of it yet.
So that's the first rally from the back of the court in 48 minutes where Anderson has really looked to bully Djokovic, hitting the ball harder, hitting it flat, not making the unforced error.
Let's for service.
First rally of substance, really. Djokovic's serving has been outstanding throughout the week.
Morley Morkel in the Kevin Anderson box. Fast bowler, playing for Surrey at the moment.
Whenever he was in trouble against Nadal, he came out the big one when he needed it most.
He
did change his swing a little bit at the beginning of the year when he came back because of his elbow injury, and ultimately small surgery he's done. He's shortened the backswing. And he had real trouble with the second serve then. He served a lot of double faults in March and April when he came back because he lost a bit of confidence and timing. But Marian Veda worked a great deal on it, and now he's back to his very best.
Game Djokovic. Djokovic leads by 3-1, second set.
But Jelena, happy camper today.
Mr. Anderson is challenging the call on the right baseline. The ball's got out.
There you go. Things are falling now a little bit in his favor. Even though he missed, he's moving better, he's more proactive, tries to take control early of the rally.
Tremendous effort he has to put in, though, Boris. Is only keeping him in the set, isn't it? He's already a set and a break down. His engine is running now, though, not an hour played. 52 minutes, and really only now is he looking physically sharp. Anyway.
Nobody ever said it was easy winning Wimbledon.
He just slid on the surface behind the baseline there, the front foot planted, and it just gave away. It's a bit clay-like at the back now. Naturally, how this court, this natural surface, changes in playing condition over the course of the championships. Lush and green at the start, and this at the end. It's still beautiful, isn't it?
Get up on the serve. I'm sure his legs are heavy and just not as strong as in previous matches.
Game Djokovic.
So 2 breaks and actually a bit of a masterclass from Novak Djokovic so far. Certainly a lot easier than the semi-final.
Djokovic leads by 4-1.
It was an absolute corker against Rafa Nadal. Now let's just go back for a second. I know you can analyse all day long and look at, there are stats for everything these days, but a player will take out certain elements that he wants to impose on the opposition. Djokovic today, backhand spins. Obviously he's keeping the ball nice and low to a tall man, just getting up half a metre or so, 1.5 feet on the backhand side. Top spin, it's obviously going to get up a little bit higher. And how does this compare to the previous match against Rafa Nadal? Well, I'm sure we'll get to that in just a second. It was illustrating what the differences are. Today in the semi-final, the top spin coming over the backhand many times, 93%. And in this final, just at 7%. There's a big difference on the backhand side, the willingness to adjust.
But whether Djokovic is hitting the topspin or the slice, he's just been so solid, so efficient in so many different areas. Only made 4 mistakes. Anderson, 22 unforced errors. And set and 4-1-2 breaks. That's been a large part of the reason why it's been so one-sided. Anderson's hit 175 aces in the tournament, only 3 today.
And I'm sure Novak spoke with Marian before the match what type of strategy you want to have today, and it looks like they put a lot of emphasis on changing the tempo, giving Anderson always a different look, sometimes a slice, sometimes a slower topspin, just to make the South African move a little bit around and hit one more ball.
Gene.
That was the longest rally of the match so far. And guess who won it? Because concentration-wise, he can't let up either. You know, he can't think of feel a bit for the other guy or just lose your concentration. Got to keep at it.
Movement from Novak Djokovic.
What does Anderson have to do to win a baseline exchange? Unbelievable first serve, incredible return, and now it's like Djokovic says, let's start the point.
.30.
Is that father and son?
Yeah. I know that's Mrs.
Starting to read the Djokovic's serve.
Deuce.
Has to connect with the returns.
Last throw of the dice for this set. Already a set and 4-1 down. Got to go for it.
Running out of gas at the end of these rallies, Anderson, as Djokovic tries to keep length on the ball.
Advantage, Djokovic.
Just wants to keep this man with this enormous wingspan, Anderson. Just keep him back. Allow him to hit himself out in these rallies. An hour played, a torrid time under the burning sun for Kevin Anderson.
Deuce.
And you mentioned the score, Andrew. He really shouldn't be looking at the scoreboard. He should think of the point and the match and just got to get through it.
Advantage, Djokovic. Game, Djokovic. Djokovic leads by 5-1, second set. Out! 15 love.
Anderson had the luxury in his last couple of matches of winning so many free points on the serve. Just going through the motion, wasn't really being tested. Today, Djokovic returns everything back.
Love.
It's the 10th Wimbledon for Kevin Anderson, now a first final. Only Marin Cilic, last year's beaten finalist, had to wait longer to make his first final. He's been coming here for many years.
Love.
Ranked at number 32 last September, Anderson made the breakthrough in New York City. A first Grand Slam semi-final at the US Open and then a first final. Lost to Nadal. started this year, Anderson,
40.
the Australian Open, lost to Kyle Edmund. He was the seeded player expected to win. Kyle Edmund, the British player, British #1, won in 5 sets. And then made the semi-final.
And that was really their first tournament as a new partnership with Coach Stein, so didn't start on the right foot.
Good man, only his 4th game in the opening 2 sets. An hour and 5 minutes played. It's all Djokovic, really.
Djokovic leads by 5 games to 2, second set, and by 1 set to love.
The ball going over just reminds me that this is the A team. They have deserved their chance to be on centre court as they change now. Their duties completed. They go through a rigorous selection process to be a part of this, and then to be picked for a final is a great honour. So well done to them. It's the 150th anniversary of the club, the master plan. The whole key is that this should be maintained as the premier tennis event in the world. Court 1 on the right-hand side there will be prepared shortly after the championships for the beginning of the roof replacement, which will, well, not a replacement, but it's going to have a retractable roof for next year's championship. Going back to the south side of the ground, there's the Orangi Park Terrace, otherwise known as Henley Hill, with that beautiful new screen, and you can see the information on both sides of the screen that they can get now, so they'll be interested in the junior final and the other matches taking place under this really hot sun here today. But that's been fantastic there. There's a couple of shaded areas behind the hill. Some lovely water features as well, including a running fountain, which is lovely and draws the eye from one side of the ground to the other. So it's a beautiful sporting venue. Never afraid of change either, Tim.
History, tradition and innovation, I think, is the way that it's best described. Got the roof on court #1 next year. It'll be ready. It's going to be a fantastic addition.
Thank you.
Settling for a 2-set lead in this Wimbledon final. This is Novak Djokovic.
With Djokovic slowing down the tempo, gives Anderson almost too much time to think about what he's going to do, and because of that, he doesn't move his feet. And the more time you have, the more you have to move.
See what happens when he gets to the net, Boris?
He barely makes that point up. Should have finished with the overhead, but here Djokovic's right foot almost got stuck. Lucky for him, nothing happened.
30 all.
It's more like it.
Well, it's taken an hour and 10 minutes, and he's a set and 5-2 down.
30-40.
Kevin Anderson has a break point.
Djokovic just doesn't let up.
Machine.
Yes.
Because Anderson in a couple of nice backhands now. Got the return back.
Technically so sound.
Advantage Djokovic.
It's 2 sets to love. Djokovic, the great man, moves on. 6-2, 6-2. Anderson had a break point, couldn't quite take it. Perhaps a quick break for Marian Vida. He brought some shoes and some rackets onto court as well in case Novak needed them, but he needs nothing. 2 sets up. Djokovic is on the way out to take a break as well. So when Kevin Anderson did come into the net, he did very well, 3 out of 3, but that's not much for a big man. In the old days, if you were 6'8", you'd spread your wing at the net, you'd make your home there and pitch a tent, but perhaps not now. Such as the ground strokes that he trusts, but it's one-way traffic, 6-2, 6-2. If I could just update you, wherever you happen to be watching this match, the boys singles final between Seng of Taipei and Jack Draper of Britain has been won by Seng, 6-4 in the final set there. Out on court 1, so keep an eye out for the name Seng, T-S-E-N-G. Many of the greats have won here and the other Grand Slam Junior Championships before, carving out great careers. And many haven't actually as well. It's not a guaranteed transition from junior tennis to senior.
as Novak Djokovic comes back out onto the court, I think the point should be made, Boris Becker, that not every junior makes the transition to senior success. In fact, some juniors win the main event here. You, when you were 17, you could have been, were you playing the juniors that year, or had you planned to?
I was playing the juniors the year before, but a player from Mexico, Leo Lavay, he won the junior tournament. He was a couple of months older than me, by the way. But it is important because the very best of each nation play the junior events at the Grand Slams, but what we have to be with them is a lot more patience than in the 80s or 90s. And the players develop a lot slower, a lot later. So it doesn't mean that somebody wins Wimbledon Juniors 18 is going to be in the main draw the next year.
Is it because the game has become so much more physical, it takes more time to build up the physical strength now to just be able to swing a racket that hard and hit the ball that hard now? Is that why things have changed? We had the 4 oldest semi-finalists in the Open era, Boris, this time.
I don't think it's a question of physicality but mentality, and I think players mature much slower nowadays than in our days. I think the expectations are high. Social media plays a part. Everybody gets hyped up winning a junior Grand Slam, and it takes them a while to understand that the men's game is one on the court.
Which is why going to American University, I think, can still work. And this is the route that Kevin Anderson took. He was at the University of Illinois. 3 years there. So there we are. He's got to come back from 2 sets down to Novak Djokovic.
Anderson lost his serve.
15 love.
In the first game of the first set and the first game of the second set. If he's going to have any impact in this match, he's got to get off to a better start, get his nose in front. Hope Djokovic could get a little nervous when he sees the finish line.
Just having a quick look at the 5-set records of Djokovic. He's won 9 of his last 10 5-set matches. He's won 8 of his last 9 5-set matches at Wimbledon. The last person to beat him, Ancic, 2006. It's an unbelievable record.
The last time these two players played each other at Wimbledon was a 5-setter. Indeed, Anderson was 2 sets to love up in the round of 16. But a lot has to happen today to get into the 5th set.
40-15. First game, 3rd set.
Just a quick look at where Anderson is hitting the ball from. Rally hit points comparisons. Semi-final against Disney. Of course, different opponents, different match. Inside the baseline, taking the ball on. Today, knocked back behind the baseline more than half the time. How do you get on the front foot and dictate? Or do you not even try against Djokovic? Do you just pile into the net and use the wingspan?
Where it starts with the right foot in the right direction.
30 love.
Like the idea, coming forward. Obviously, you got to make the volley, but intentions are good.
That slice that we were talking about from Djokovic, it keeps the ball low. Anderson, big man,
40 love.
has to get down there and back up and change direction. It's a long way down when you're 6'8". Morny Morkel in the background looking at this track and going, I wouldn't mind throwing some heat down here. A bit of movement, wouldn't there, off the green bits?
Game Djokovic. One game off, that's it.
Didn't look much, did it, the return?
Love
It's off 130 mile an hour first serve, and Djokovic, without anybody noticing, just pinged it back right down the middle of the court to a great length, offered no angle to Anderson to play off. It's just unspectacular but brilliant. Look at this position he takes. Not that time. 130 miles an hour again. He's got to throw everything he has at Djokovic now, or it's over.
130 mile an hour is fine as long as you hit your spots. The first serve, it was into the hitting zone of Djokovic, and that's where he'll make that return all day. Second one, found the corner.
A remarkable return again. We don't want to harp on about the same thing every time, but 134 miles an hour. That one was in the corner, and here is the great returner making it play. He's whirling around in the air trying to knock the ball back into play and ask the question.
Come on. 40-15.
One point at a time. He can't do more. Just got to start building a little bit. Start with the first floor.
Fist from the big man. He's got a slender lead in this third set.
Anderson leads by 2-1. Third set, Djokovic by 2 sets to love.
A very respected professional, Kevin Anderson, 32 years of age. He's been on the player council for a number of years, 6 years or so. Big guitarist, loves playing that. Wayne Bryan actually taught him to play. That's the dad of Bob and Mike Bryan. Mike, who won the doubles with Jack Sock yesterday. And he and his wife Kelsey in the middle of the shot with the dark glasses. They can't wait to get home to see. They've got this little Dachshund Chihuahua rescue dog called Lady Cady. And it's got its own Instagram account. That's what she tells me. They can't wait to get home to that. It's called a chai weenie, Hennes. For real.
Yeah. The less said about that, better, as far as I'm concerned.
Just a little human interest. He's a man who clearly has done everything he can in every single way throughout his career to maximise the potential that he had, and to make 2 Grand Slam finals out of the last 3 is a fantastic return. I do feel a little sorry for him at this point. It's difficult to produce your best tennis after going through the semi-final that he did.
Well, at least he's holding serve now in the 3rd set. It didn't happen in the first 2, so he's one step ahead. He can't do more at the moment. Anderson always protects the backhand side of the court, so he leaves the opening on that forehand side.
Let's for service. Love. Love. Game Djokovic.
He doesn't let up. Keep the concentration. Strong serving performance again.
2 games all. That's it.
If you were just looking at the stats and you didn't know the players, it would be the Djokovic column that you think is the big server, winning 78% on first serve and 80% on second serve. Whereas Anderson down at 66 on first serve and 43.
It was even lower with the first 2 sets. Djokovic is giving Anderson trouble with these low, slow backhand slides. Big man really doesn't like them.
On.
.30-15.
Just the 4 of those.
You wouldn't have thought that in the 5th game of the 3rd set. Anderson only serving his 4th ace.
I feel like he has a bit of a spring now in his step. He's a bit more lively. It's a bit more positive.
Boris nearly won the serve and volley point.
40-30.
He tried. And Djokovic again makes him hit another shot.
For the first time in this final at Wimbledon. Well done, Kevin Anderson. 3-2, 3rd set.
Anderson leads by 3 games to 2. 3rd set, Djokovic by 2 sets to love.
But he's only won 12 points against the Djokovic serve. And many of those were in the game at the end of the 2nd set where he had his one and only break point. At some point he's got to do something with the Djokovic serve. Is it possible to change a returning stance or position? I mean, would you stand further back, further forward, Tim?
He's got to try something. I think it's probably more to do with the 2nd serve opportunities. Djokovic has done a great job of keeping his 1st serve percentage up there, and as we look at the stats, he's hasn't lost too many points. I think if Anderson is going to get any looks at 2nd serve, he has to stand in a bit tighter to the baseline and really be aggressive, look to dictate with that 1st shot. But again, this is not something that he's so comfortable with. When I talk about the serving and volleying, it's only served and volleyed a handful of times in the whole tournament. To then ask him against Djokovic, the best returner in history in the Wimbledon final, to start doing something that he's not comfortable with, it's very, very difficult.
That's been the problem of his career, that his A game is now absolute world class. You can beat anybody, but he really doesn't have a B game. So he cannot really adapt if the things are going out his direction. And obviously you would figure that for the Wimbledon final he would like to change, but it's in his DNA. That's how he plays. On the other hand, Djokovic going to be a little bit nervous as the match progresses to the finish line. And that's the moment he has to wait for.
Love. Love.
He tried to give Djokovic a different look.
Not sure anything's going to make too much difference.
From Djokovic, easy to miss just how effective he's being here. This is the 14th point in a row on Djokovic serve that he's won. Anderson comes in, gets past, stays back, gets out rallied.
Drop shots.
Okay, that's next.
Game Djokovic.
The 15th point in a row on the Djokovic serve makes it 3-all.
Three games all, third set.
God, he's got to be feeling good. He'd never beaten Rafa in a semi-final at a slam. He's won that match. What a contest. He's really emerged again after a 2-year hiatus. Hasn't had many shots at major championships since then. He's been injured, come back. There were, I guess, some issues that are only rumour. That's all gone now as he tries to become a major champion again.
$15
Swigging from the bottle. Bit
thirsty work out there.
Bit early even for a Sunday.
Can debate that.
That equals the longest rally once again. He's having to work so hard physically.
But he won the point, and it must feel good at this stage in the match, especially winning the long rallies. Still live left in Kevin Anderson.
40 love.
Took about first and second wins. Anderson's on his 44th win of the tournament.
Whatever he takes.
$40-15.
Here we go. This one. Come on.
On Barbara Anderson.
Come on.
Doesn't travel as much now to see her son play.
Game Anderson.
But she's got to be so proud of the way he's fighting in this third set. He's making a match of it.
Anderson leads by 4-3. Third set, Djokovic by 2 sets to love.
It wasn't easy to leave home and to go to Illinois from Johannesburg. The tennis wasn't good enough. The travel enormous all the time. So it's always a sacrifice, Tim, from family, from everybody to to make it all happen. But a great decision for him. The bridge between juniors and seniors was American University. I guess you were good enough, young enough, that was never something that you thought about.
Not sure I was good enough, but I went down a different route, and everybody's journey is different. And I think it was interesting reflecting on Jack Draper in the final of the junior event. It's about finding your level, challenging yourself at every level. So you always want to be playing with people that little bit better than you, and then working your way through trying to make it onto the main tour. And that's where I agree with you, Andrew. I think the American University is a good option of having that combination of not only a lot of tennis, a lot of more time to mature physically and mentally before coming onto the main tour.
We've enjoyed watching young Jay Clark in Britain and Harriet Dart making the semi-final of the mixed. There's Jamie Murray and Victoria Azarenka in the mixed doubles final after this. However long this championship match lasts. Still some more tennis to go. We can all grieve the passing of another Wimbledon tomorrow. So Djokovic is 3-4 in this third set.
Talked about that one as well on second serve, to stand in and take a few risks.
Something has come alive here. Let's hope it continues. Supporting Kevin Anderson.
15-all.
Well, he's an easy man to support, such as his effort. He's had enough injuries to keep an average A&E going for a while. He's a man who doesn't give up easily.
Quality again from Djokovic, serving 3-4, love 15. Tiny bit of scoreboard pressure and 2 first serves, steadies the ship.
James Keltherman in the chair signalling the ball is good for him. He's pulled it in. Novak Djokovic is a little... I was wondering whether he had noticed, and he hadn't.
Mr.
So it
Djokovic
is a challenge.
Is challenging a call on the right near sideline. The ball is caught in.
You are supposed to challenge instantaneously. Djokovic didn't hear that.
30-all.
Or at least that's what he made out, 30-all.
Good overrule by the umpire. Actually, they were criticized this time. It was perfect.
Mr. Djokovic has 2 challenges remaining.
And all of a sudden...
Thank you. Advantage Djokovic. Mr. Anderson is challenging a call on the service line.
But he's starting to make his presence felt. He's in the match now. He's playing with a bit more confidence. Even comes to the net now after the serve. It did change a little.
15 love. $15 all. Let's for service.
Net. Perhaps he could have done that more in this game, but one-way traffic. A final throw of the dice these last few games for Anderson.
Yeah, it's gutsy play. Obviously, he had breakpoint in Djokovic's last service game. He attacked a second serve. He's looked to move forward a little bit more. And as you say, if he could just keep his nose in front this set, maybe get an opportunity in this service game or get to a tie break, you never know.
You were with Novak when he
no exception. Obviously, usually finds a way to overcome that, but he has lots of emotions within him. And another word about Anderson. In the last couple of matches, the longer the match went, the stronger he got. So I don't think it's a question of physicality. It's really a question of mentally how to get really stuck into that match. And it looks like he's in it now. Come on. Remember, he was 2 sets to love down against Federer. I'm just saying.
Mr. Anderson is challenging a call on the left baseline. The ball's got out. $15 love.
Double fault here.
Mr. Anderson has 1 challenge remaining.
Some players like to do that rather than use an actual vibration damper. They just get an elastic band and just tie it. Always felt a bit flappy to do that. Agassi. He was the first that I saw using just a rubber band. South African just looks a different order of player coming forward.
Playing a little bit further up the court.
Oh, now that's away. It was a big second serve. It was courageous to go for it. But it's a third double fault. Previous one in this game as well. So suddenly, Anderson with set point.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
That had plenty of topspin on it. And it must have landed right on the baseline of Kevin Anderson. The slightly miscued forehand. Everybody went mad thinking it was a fourth set.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a courtesy to both players, please remain as quiet as you can during the rally. Thank you very much.
Get excited. We've got a fourth set coming.
Spoke about the Volcano, didn't I?
Yes.
Third double in the game. He is uptight.
He is challenging the ball on the right far side line.
He's going to erupt like a volcano. Boris is living and dying every point.
Interesting choice of second serves here from Djokovic. It's not as if he's playing an unbelievable returner. Rolling the dice, taking the risk on second serve. I'm not sure it's quite necessary. Credit where credit's due.
Juice.
Right back at it. Keep it going. Come on.
The return stayed a little low from Anderson, and Djokovic did well really to get the racket head underneath the ball. Get the angle on the forehand.
Going to try again. The hard wide serve on.
Anywhere in the box.
Djokovic waited until he moved
far side line
to defend the backhand side. Anderson had the mid-court ball, took it on, and missed it.
Set the point up so well.
Mr. Anderson has no more challenges remaining.
Well, no more challenges remaining, and still possibly some games left in this set. Get an extra challenge if they go to a tiebreaker, but that's 2 games and a bit away.
But he was emphasizing to staying in the moment. That's where he is. He doesn't think ahead. He stays in here right now.
Game Djokovic.
Second serve at 110 miles an hour.
5 games.
He's going for it in that service game. Served a few double faults, but still had the courage to keep going for it. Big hold.
And then a big reaction towards the spectators, just showing how strong he is. That's where he gets the fire from.
Love.
138 South African miles per hour.
Ace is slowly creeping up. 10th of the match. I think he only served 3 in the first 2 sets.
Anderson seemed to have been warm now, nice and
loosened up.
Loosened up.
30 love. $40.
He's playing good now.
Let's for service.
Brilliant service game from Kevin Anderson. A hold to love. 6-5 to him. Just over 2 hours played in this championship match.
Anderson leads by 6 games to 5. Third set, Djokovic by 2 sets to love.
Every serve in that game over 130 miles an hour. So if he was a little disappointed from having his set points in the previous game, he certainly didn't show it. And Djokovic always happy, Boris Becker, to show his emotion. This is a man who's ended 4 years as the world #1, probably produced the best tennis of anybody of all time, even Federer and Nadal, who of course are beloved. Is it that which drives him on sometimes, that despite this most incredible record, he's never going to be quite Federer or Nadal in people's minds?
Yeah, it may bother him a little bit, but ultimately he wants to chase records. You know, he's got 12 majors now. Federer's got 20. Nadal has 17, and that's his generation. He's been playing with these two giants.
Is he aware of that? I mean, he's tied with Emerson at the moment on 12, Sampras on 14, Nadal 17, Federer 20. This amazing generation. Is he aware of records?
He's a historian. He loves tennis. He studies the game. He knows he's in front of him. Of course. Would he ever admit it publicly? No. But he loves this. He wants to be, when it's all said and done, one of the greatest. We'll see one on the screen now.
11 for Bjorn Borg. I see Jan Kodesh up there, former champion here. Stan Smith in 72. John Newcomb. Who else have we got there?
Stefan Edberg.
Stefan, Rod. How many would he have won if he could have played those years when he turned professional? 88-90 for Stefan Edberg. Can't remember the loser he played in the final.
Thank you very much.
Manolo Santana, 66. Ah, that's wonderful. Finals day at Wimby. What are we going to do tomorrow? 3rd and 4th place playoff?
Love the team. Love 13. Thank you.
It's what Djokovic did so well against Nadal. A number of times he was down love 30, hit his spots with the first serve, got himself out of trouble. Needs a repeat here.
Just wide. 2 more set points in a row. Anderson's return of serve, Djokovic-esque. Off a very well placed. Oh, that first serve. Here we go.
He'd like that one back.
30-14.
Yeah, that was a makeable return. He hit the ball on the strings. He just lifted his body up too quickly. But 1 more to go.
On all of these big points, he's serving to the Anderson forehand, isn't he? Out wide at 15-40, down the middle at 30-40. Again, it's just a relentless peppering of this South African's forehand return.
And he hasn't missed his first serve yet.
No, he's also
under pressure.
And he's taking too long between points, Djokovic. 32.7 seconds are recorded. But, the umpire doesn't seem interested in that at the moment. I understand why. I don't mind how long they take, as long as it doesn't affect the opposition. The rules are 25. Turn. What's
difficult for the umpire is Djokovic is standing there at the baseline, bouncing the ball, ready to serve. So when is he going to start the motion? You count it here. 4, 5.
I'm sure he's aware of that now.
living with the ball, staying down. So proficient off the
advantage. Djokovic.
Yeah, Novak gave somebody a kiss. I hope it was his wife.
The returner, but ultimately he deserved that game. There'll be a shot clock at the next major championship, the US Open, at the end of the summer. It won't happen here, I'm sure.
One additional challenge.
Big set of tennis this, 2 hours and 11 minutes in total. This one, almost an hour. Tie break. Anderson now has that challenge that you get when you go to a breaker.
Anderson.
Good start from Anderson here, just skimming the top of the net. This
One all.
Yeah, he was in the rally here. Could have done no more with the backhand, and Djokovic.
Still one of these next 2 points, or both, he will be in the driving seat.
First, Kevin is clearing the ground here a little bit.
top of the net. Four championship points for Novak Djokovic.
6-2. Djokovic. Djokovic.
And Anderson still with it, still mentally there. But obviously, Djokovic 1 point away.
Up. And Kevin Anderson, who spent some 22 hours on court. A remarkable championship for Anderson. A fourth Wimbledon in his fifth final. Far from straightforward in set number 3. And he's going to eat a little bit of the court in celebration. Well, who knows what triumphs await for Novak Djokovic. He does break that tie with Roy Emerson, who now has 13 of these Grand Slam championships, 6 Australian Opens, a French, a couple of US's and 4 Wimbledon championships. The only man who's beaten him in the 5 finals, Andy Murray, back in 2013, and we hope we will see Murray return to the winner's circle one day as well. Great effort, Kevin Anderson. Don't forget there's a mixed doubles final still to come. We continue to bask in the sunshine here. And we bask in a victory for Novak Djokovic, who is one of the all-time greats, one of this phenomenal generation of players that we've enjoyed so much. A renewal of mind and body, really, after a hiatus for Djokovic. Recharged and ready for perhaps even greater triumphs to come. These big 4 have won 48 of the last 53 major championships. And at the French Open recently, the question was whether or not Novak Djokovic had what it takes to win the big points when they really matter. At Queen's Club, the same questions, where he lost a match point to Marin Cilic, but now, after 2 years away from the winner's circle, Novak Djokovic returns. Well, we almost had an extended final here, but not quite. Kevin Anderson, great work to beat Roger Federer on court 1 at Wimbledon was a fabulous effort. From match point down, he could so easily have been beaten at that stage. And against John Isner, 6.5 hours, 26-24. And in front of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, the presentation party make their way to court. Members of the committee to each corner of this magnificent arena. It's the 150th anniversary of these championships. And a great event. And here the trophy in silver gilt, first presented in 1887. William Renshaw won the first two, the Field Cup and the Challenge Cup. He won them 3 times, so kept them.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for the trophy presentation for the gentlemen's singles. Please welcome onto centre court His Royal Highness the Duke of Kent, President of the All England Lawn Tennis Club, along with the Chairman Philip Brooke and David Rawlinson, Deputy President of the Lawn Tennis Association. First, please show your appreciation for the chair umpire, James Kyothevong.
A second men's singles final at Wimbledon for James Kyothevong. Great job as ever.
And next, the championship's referee, Andrew Jarrett.
Not called upon this year to make too many decisions, thankfully, on the roof, although the semi-final was closed between Novak Djokovic and Rafa Nadal because the match couldn't be finished outdoors.
Now, to the runner-up, Kevin Anderson.
A finalist at 2 Grand Slam championships. A cheque as consolation for £1,125,000. A rise in the rankings to world number 5. Vindication for his hard work and his sacrifice. Runner-up on this occasion.
And the Wimbledon champion of 2018, Novak Djokovic.
Well, it doesn't get any better. Certainly a large cheque for the record, £2.25 million. He's got plenty of that, though. And now Kevin Anderson will have a word with Subaka.
Kevin, so close to getting back into that match, those chances on set point.
Yeah, the first 2 sets, Novak beat up on me pretty bad, and the whole fortnight I've really just tried my best to keep at it, and I've really worked hard on that, and